How's it going, beautiful people? Let me know if you can hear me. Sending you all lots of love. Got about almost 400 hanging out with us. Beautiful, beautiful. Are we too loud or are we loud? Which is it? Are we comfortably loud? Are we comfortably numb? You pick. Are we perfect? Are we imperfect? All right. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Somebody asked, what are these live streams about? You guys share your thoughts. I hope you have a bucket of ice water with you because it's going to get sweaty in here. It's like one of those summer days where you get a cold towel and wrap it around your neck. That's like 10 minutes deep into a Waters Above live stream. Some of you know all too well, don't you? And it's been a while, but I needed these visuals today. Oh man, we're starting off. Would you look at this? I need to give a little attention to that. With the density, welcome. It's so great for you to join us today. I hope you're doing well. How how much pressure do you want with the hug we're all gonna give you? Like a nice squeeze? A little kiss on the cheek? Which one do you what do you want? Mhm. Love humans. I'm so grateful to be with all of you today. What a day, what a week, what a week. This is good. We got a follow-up from 4th Density. Really, give us a sermon. I wanna see you dabbing your forehead like a preacher in July. We need more sermon. We need more of that here. Let's get more. All right, moving on. I appreciate every single one of you. We are just a couple minutes in. Got some really, really dope visuals today. Some immediate laughs at the beginning, which were needed. We love all the mosquitoes swarming around us. It makes us better. Janet, appreciate you joining us today. Wendy, appreciate you. Eric, much love. Travis, appreciate you. It's great. Beauty and Everything said I missed the live Thursday in the university. It was amazing. It was so great to be able to connect with everyone on our first AMA that we did over at Waters Above University. I believe we covered a lot. made a lot of progress. Talked a lot about this numerology blueprint that I introduced, the esoteric numerology replacing the traditional life path. And it was really amazing to hear some feedback from other members in our group, letting me know that they really resonated with what I was sharing there and believed that it was quite a unique onboarding experience. So I would love to know some of your thoughts for anyone that's hanging out with us right now that has joined Waters Above University and has gone through the first lecture, which was called Discover Your Esoteric Numerology. And shout out to Chenzo, our boy Vinny, a fellow wolf who's been in our community for some time, helped me to bring this idea to life in a program. So help me actually take this idea and turn it into a new numerology calculator. And we're going to be working together on some future projects as well. So just the start of many beautiful things. But yeah, so great to have that first AMA. And next week, we will have our first group coaching call. And then a very special guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to actually in 2 years, and that includes just even phone calls. So I can't even believe this I'm saying that, but it is a fact that I have not spoken to this individual in a couple of years. We've both been incredibly busy with what we have going on. We're both very spiritual beings, so we value our time quite a bit. And, yeah, just really excited to connect with a fellow brother. So, yeah, beauty and everything. You didn't miss anything because you got playback. So every recording is posted and good to go. And appreciate our moderator over there, Clementine, for helping us so much with organizing all of what's going on in the university. Got that university community live. It's a completely different Discord experience. Really amazing to see how that all came to life. So I appreciate Clementine for helping us with that. And we're just getting started. The journey has just begun. I'm really excited to see what this all unravels into. And how symbolic is it that literally the day we launched the university, XRP was pretty much recovering to all time highs? Like, absolutely crazy. For those of you that are unaware, my channel started almost 4 years ago. We're probably a month and a half out from the 4-year anniversary, and from day 1, I was making videos about XRP, and there was quite a historic moment for Waters Above where we had talked about selling XRP in April of 2021. And at the time, I was introducing to the world a system that combined gematria along with my technical analysis. And I started adding in additional layers from astrology and numerology. And well, that's why you're all here. And at that time, though, in April 2021, the channel was quite fresh. And a lot of people were not convinced. And I can't blame them because it was a brand new channel, it was a brand new endeavor. And well, I completely understand. You know, it takes some time to watch how things go. And we'll save you time with the story, but let's just say I was public about selling the position that I had in XRP between $60, $70, and up to, I believe, $1.80. Around $1.86 was my last big sell order in April 2021. And I was getting crucified publicly. Which again, I actually also expected because I was studying the XRP army and I was studying their behavior and their mindset and the way that they were maneuvering. And please keep in mind, this was almost 4 years ago now. So there's been a lot that's transpired since then. But that time frame of me going through that and me sharing my analysis and my esoteric outlook on the markets and seeing the feedback it got, and then also watching the way the market changed after May of 2021 and then not recovering back to those levels for what, 3 full years, it taught me something. It taught me how important it is to put in a lot of hard work, study something, take action, and then be confident and own whatever it is that you're committing to. I am not gonna stand here and say that I was right, because none of that actually matters. Did I profit? Yes. I bought all of my XRP pretty much around 20 cents. I have a course lesson in my crypto mastermind where it's the day of the Ripple SEC case crash, where we were seeing all the delistings happening for XRP, and people could hear it in my voice how giddy I was that I had an opportunity to buy another sub 20-cent XRP. And I accumulated quite a bit during that time frame. Also, that crypto mastermind was created for private clients that I had, and I didn't launch my channel all the way up until March 2021. So I was doing this in the background, really working on my craft and working with people one on one and in smaller groups just to kind of gather some intel on, can I do this at a level that I feel is in harmony with my beingness. And I've already talked about this story before many times, but for those that are new here, I actually wasn't planning on making a YouTube channel. It took me some convincing from clients that I had that just enjoyed my training style. They really enjoyed the way I would teach them and how calm I was about teaching them. And even though it was quite difficult for people to get into, with all these two-factor authentication and sending these big private key, tab from one wallet to the next wallet and hardware wallets, and it was very daunting for people. I completely got it at the time. And like anything, when you are a professional in something and you understand something, you have two opportunities. One, you could either help others directly, or the other is you can just continue to work on yourself. And I was at a place in life where I needed the convincing from people to push me in that direction to finally put this microphone in front of me and start recording YouTube videos. So we'll spare you the rest of the story, but I just want to kind of recap how these last 4 years have been now that we're here at the beginning of January 2025, and I've decided to move into a new endeavor called Waters Above University. And there's a method to the madness here. So going through a full cycle, watching how everything's unfolded, and seeing how many people got a little too reliant into markets and completely bypassed the most important investment of all, which is investing in yourself, and how important that is, and how it's kind of looked over. Um, I believe my internet connection might be a little not optimal right now, so just want to make sure. Okay, I think we're good. So I just want to wrap up this idea and we'll build on it more later today, but I feel as if this is very important to talk about today, that we need to start thinking about investing in ourselves because we're already doing very well investing in these markets. And we're about to watch some wild things unfold in these markets that you might not have the emotional capacity to be able to navigate. And that's completely fine. Again, you're here in a community of people that are working together to thrive in this matrix. You're actually trying to make progress and be the change in this world, whilst many are waiting around for their governments to solve problems for them. And this is very toxic behavior, but it just is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and talk negatively about the groupthink. It's there for a reason. And you should also be proud of it because you're the one that's on your path taking action. And that's why you'll feel success, why many people desire success. There's plenty of things we could discuss today. We're just kicking this off. It's been about 10, 12 minutes in, but just quickly recap or wrap up that XRP story because it's been a long time coming and it's been something that I've been teaching about now for a pretty long amount of time to remember all the moments where there was a lot of doubt. How many times throughout 2021, 2022, and 2023 where I continuously called this thing a trader's coin and that you needed to wait until Bitcoin price discovery to start seeing amazing things happen in this project. I don't know how many times publicly on this channel I've talked about selling this asset and then rebuying it back in and stacking more and more and more XRP. I suspect there's more believers today than there was initially, and that's not even what I care to acquire, because I want everyone to believe in themselves, and I all want you, if at any time you were triggered by what was going on here, by the information, by how sharp I am with my words, it's not to offend you, and it is definitely not to trigger you. It's to make you better. It's to make you realize perhaps some things you didn't notice in your own investment thesis, in your own wealth plan, in the way that you were perceiving this reality. And I think the energy of 2025 is really simple. It's, if you haven't gotten your shit together now, get your shit together now. This is not a time to fuck around. Way too many people are not prepared for what's coming. So if you're one of the lucky few who's already invested in this market, don't get greedy to the upside. If you have a plan and it secures your ability to get out of debts or to be able to invest more in yourself, which could be a passion of yours, a business model you have, acquiring land, whatever it is. If anyone ever tells you that you are wrong for taking profits, that is not the person you should be keeping yourself around. I've been through it so many times. And shout out to the Bearable Bull who gave me the opportunity maybe 2 years ago to talk on his channel and to be 100% raw about my opinions and about my theories and how I felt about this market. And he gave me a lot of praise for the early start of my YouTube career when I was, I don't know, perhaps one of the few who was confident in effectively profiting near the top. So I shout out to Bearable Bull. He even called me yesterday just to like check in with me and ask me how I'm doing. Like he's a homie. I really appreciate him, grateful for him. I know he's been putting in a lot of work for probably 2 times longer than I have here on in social media, and I'm sure right now he's feeling, like, "Damn, look at where we are now over this huge time horizon that we've been waiting, and we're here." And I'm not trying to say this to hype anyone up or to make anyone, like, feel anything outside of what you're already feeling. It's just, if you don't sense excitement in me right now, it's because I knew this would happen. And by the way, in 2021 in April, I knew that would happen. Why? Because I'm not paying attention to the news. In 2022, I was not paying attention to any developments in the SEC case. The only time I would comment on it is because people wanted to know. It's been the biggest fucking distraction on earth. Every big win in the case had nothing to do with anything with price expansion. It was all theater. A couple of days ago, the SEC tries making another move. No one cares anymore. The dragon is breathing fire now. Tables have turned. We're in a new phase of the bull run, and this is the most confusing phase to navigate. This is the time where a lot of people are going to make some very dumb decisions. And when the market gets very greedy again, and extreme greed, which it will, you're going to see some really clownish and foolish things being said, believed in, and executed on. And when people start doing stupid stuff in markets, when we're already in greed, it's time for you to consider getting your ass in the chair for this big cosmic game of musical chairs, because that's all investing is and what it will always be. I've talked about this so many times now that we are in an everything bubble. I'm not trying to tell you to sell today. Absolutely fucking not. Am I telling you to sell when XRP hits $5? No. That's not what this is about today. What this is about today is you. It's about you having a plan to take profit when it suits you, not you sitting around waiting for what Waters Above is going to tell you or what any other influencer. Fuck all of that. I know this is probably crazy for some people to hear right now, but you needed to hear this. You needed to hear this because what I went through in April 2021 was what I thought was helping people. And that turned around real quick when I watched so many people take it as me telling them what they should do. It's not how it goes. You need to do what's right for you and what's right for your family, what's right for your community, what's right for your people. And in April 2021, I had a plan. And when I got the price levels, I executed. I always say this: build your plan, trade your plan. Everything else is static. And in crypto, we become desensitized even to 500% moves. We see a project go up 200%, 300% in a couple days, and it's like we don't even feel anything anymore here. In the stock market, that shit's life changing. But here in crypto, it's like we almost need to have a 1,000% move to feel like accomplished. And it's because people want to turn pennies into dimes. And it's not that lack of gratitude and that lack of like realizing you've just done something that maybe takes a stock 10 fucking years to accomplish. You can do it in a couple of weeks. It turns you into a beast. It turns you into somebody that's not rational anymore. All the logic goes out the window. All of reality become like crumbles and pixelates in front of your eyes. And you're no longer an investor. You're a gambler. So it's so important that I say this at the early phase of this live stream. Again, I mentioned just last week, I can't commit to doing live streams moving forward. I will be doing them maybe every once in a while, maybe once a month. I'm not sure, but I have committed to 2025 this new venture of mine called Waters Above University, where I'll be doing a weekly meeting over there. I'm really excited to dive deeper into that project. And it's not me neglecting or doing anything of that nature. I will continue to be sharing my weekly Red Pill podcast over on Patreon for the Mastermind community. And I'll also continue to make YouTube videos as regularly as humanly possible. I will continue to post updates on X or Instagram or wherever as much as possible. So none of that's going away. These live streams, on the other hand, I can't commit to doing them every single week. They will be something that I get to once in a while. But over in the university, we have it open enrollment for the next couple days. We'll be closing that down by the weekend. So anyone who wants to get in, secure your spot today because we're going to be doing something life changing over there. All this wealth that we're building over here in crypto, we're going to be turning that wealth into something that is actually purposeful, is about something more than luxury cars and yachts and private jets. It will be about something that when this bull run is all over, you won't really need to be too concerned anymore about what the bear market's going to be like or when the next bull run's going to start again or all of this bull run bear market horseshit. It is chaos. You need to go within right now and ask yourself, if I didn't have crypto, am I fulfilled? Whether it be relationships, it be the community you're part of, it be what's going on at work, what's going on in your business, what's going on in your life. You really need to go within and ask yourself, am I doing what excites me? Because I know most people that are sitting here listening right now, crypto actually doesn't excite you. You probably got into it like many, including myself, because it was an opportunity to make money. And a lot of the time, when our only focus is making money, what happens to us is we neglect the humanity. There's a human element to life that is so crucial. And staring at little candlesticks pop up and down on the screen all day is never going to make you feel bliss. If anything, it's going to make you feel a chaotic anxiety endlessly. Not everyone has the stomach or the consciousness to navigate cryptocurrency this way. And not have it take full control of their life. How many people that are listening here right now, do you check in on your phone almost every 5 seconds when you're out of your house to look at the charts or to look at like the list of coins in your portfolio. I mean, it's a pretty common thing. But before you found crypto, do you ever do that? No, right? You never did that. Is it wrong that you're doing that now? No. You've shifted your attention. That's fine. But then you get more education in the space. You start finding out about all these other things that are going on here, DeFi and then it just grows and grows and grows. And sometimes this snowball turns into an avalanche and then you're lost in the sauce. You're like, what is life anymore? Guys, I went through that too. Not necessarily fully in crypto, but in other endeavors that led to this before this. I've been there. I'm actually quite an obsessive person. Whenever I learn about something new, I give 110% of my energy to it. That's why for me, it's hard to fail at stuff, but that's not a flex. That's just the byproduct of my commitment to it. If you commit fully, thoroughly to whatever it is, it's hard to fail. But right now, we're quite distracted by the world at large, by the bread and circus that unfolds. And I think what we're seeing and what we could call bread and circus is soon going to translate over to something that's like quite sci fi, like a Black Mirror episode. I don't know about you, but I mean, I could see it. This crypto thing can only get us so far in a world that's going to be full blown technocracy. Just every little piece of our reality will be tech. I mean, I'm waiting for the day where I walk into a cafe and it's just a robot that makes the coffee. Some people think that that sounds crazy, but they're already creating these things. There's already companies that have billions of dollars funneling into them by these big conglomerates and these even the central banks are funding it. They wanna create a world where basically we, the people, no longer trust people, and we give all of our trust to robotics, to humanoid robots, and to artificial intelligence, and I know it sounds sci-fi, it sounds crazy, but you all know. You all know what's coming. I mean, name a major city on this earth that doesn't already have a plan to become a 15-minute city. They all do, and if they can't make it happen with your approval, they'll toast you out of the space. It's fucked up to say, but look at recent events. They will do whatever they wanna do until humanity decides to commit to each other instead of committing to the state. They will do whatever they wanna do until humanity decides to commit to each other, except right now, we rather commit to influencers. We rather commit to the football team we watch. We see people that give more prana to the fucking Super Bowl than they do their own families. I mean, I'm not saddened by that, I'm not worried about that, I'm also not defeatist at all. You wanna know why I'm not defeatist? Look at what I'm creating. I am trying to provide a solution to all of that, at least allow myself the opportunity to do such. So if that resonates with you, welcome. I'm looking forward to getting over to the chat, seeing what you guys are thinking about, whatever questions you have. Hail Metallica, sending you lots of love. You said, been feeling like I just don't know what my purpose is in life. Lost a lot of passion for things I once enjoyed. Everything is good, just meh. Well, it's because you're not committing to anything. That's typically the byproduct here of having a bunch of things you give attention to, but you haven't selected one to pour your heart and soul into. And I actually just went into this in a university lecture that I released today. It's called Discover Your Commitment. And it goes into my story in depth, but also I just spent as much time as possible extracting all the life lessons, like all the nuggets of wisdom to be able to transfer this idea over in a digestible fashion so that people can go, "Oh, yeah, these are the things that I could identify instantly in what I'm committing to or not committing to, and then let's refine." Like I just said a moment ago, some people commit more to Doja Cat than they do even to their own, like, musical, capabilities. Like, it actually blows my mind when you think of any famous celebrity or any yeah, just we'll call them celebrities, famous people, how if you were to go on any social media platform, these people have a fan account. So that means bro, listen to the words I'm saying right now. Somebody, or maybe a team of people, which is even more fucking mind-boggling, somebody has committed to creating a account for for the famous person who's already famous, and it's just everyone comes to that account to then appreciate what the person I don't know. I personally I my consciousness doesn't go there. Are those people wrong for doing no. Whatever, man. But it's kind of proof of what I'm saying. Like, you're committing to something at the end of the day. And what is it? You know? We all have a lot of passions, but do you feel passion? Have you asked yourself that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the word passion comes from French, the word for pain, passion. It means pain. Pain leaves when it's done teaching you. So in a sense, it's sacrificial, but it's a beautiful sacrifice. It's so beautiful that somebody committed everything to architecture or to woodworking or to figuring out how to create a car engine or a transmission or tires. I mean, all these little things, electricity in our houses, plumbing, or all the systems that run our society, whether it be for garbage removal, recycling. I mean, you name it, I could keep going. We're all necessary here in some capacity, and we've overlooked that. And this is the protocol of Zionism. They pop us into all these little nodal points on the big grid so that we all kind of just trust in the system as it is. But then when there starts to be little fractures in the system, what happens? We don't default to working together. We default to complaining on a fucking chat room somewhere on, we complain on x.com. We're like, our government is incompetent. Like, you're wasting all this energy talking about the government in like a keyboard warrior. Like, go fucking do something about, oh, yeah, you can't do something about it, right? Because we are purely reliant on the system. So it's like that last scene in the final Matrix movie where he says the people love their blue pill. Even the enlightened ones, even the ones that are like, this is why my whole time being here, these 4 years, I'm very careful with what I say about the elite and about the New World Order or the Illuminati or whatever, because it's like, yo, your whole system exists as it does because everyone is hypnotized to it. You like air conditioning in your house? Well, guess what? You like electricity? Guess what? You like when you flush the toilet, your shit goes somewhere else? Guess what? Who created that? Who designed that and who has put in a system in place so you're incentivized for keeping that going in some capacity? The New World Order did. Before that, what were we doing? If we wanted food, we would go over to the next door neighbor and put a spear in their chest and be like, "Thank you." We were violent savages. It's so funny, one of my favorite scenes in the movie Margin Call, and some people are gonna be triggered by this, but they're like, "But we could live in peace and harmony." Okay, show me. Show me, please. It's why I actually really resonate with Osho because he isn't, like, pure blown super spiritual, like, he does allow for the truth of we kinda like our comforts. There's some wisdom in what he goes into there. Denying materialism completely fucks you too. Like, it's nice to have a car, right? It's nice to have a cell phone to be able to communicate with people across the world whenever you want. It's nice to be able to have this internet so that I could do this live stream so that I could talk with you all. Trust me, if there was no incentivism system put in place of that, there would be no people building fiber optic internet fucking cable lines. There just wouldn't. People would not get up off their ass to organize to do the whole plumbing system just because. They need money for it. And that creation of the incentivization system is genius because it keeps it all going with the least barbarism. And this is why the New World Order does what they do with war. I know it sounds very fucked up, but, like, you just need to remove yourself from being so dualistic, like the polarity of good and evil, and see it for what it is from a different vantage point. Rise above it, look down at it, and you'll go, "Oh, yeah. If we just turned off the system for a fucking second, everyone would become volatile." It would be like apes throwing their shit all over the place. Nobody would take care of this beautiful world. It would become Mad Max. That's why that's the final card for the New World Order, and they're not gonna play it. They're gonna be very, very dialed in with how they play it, you know? Like, these movies like Leave the World Behind and all of that stuff, like, you gotta realize that the people who are running the show here are likely not thinking. They're probably using artificial intelligence that we're not allowed direct access to, and effectively, their AI pulls in everything that these intelligence agencies are able to get from our social media and from all of it. Like, they're taking what I'm saying right now, and they're taking all of your profiles right now, and they're determining, like, this equals this, and this is what we can influence this group to think or say or whatever. Like, that's just life, man. We're all connected now through this system, and this system runs through something that's capturing data every fucking millisecond, compiling it all together, and then it distributes it to determine in an algorithmic fashion how to execute what they will do. This is why during C-19, they knew when they needed to do the George Floyd thing, when they needed to do the Black Lives Matter thing. They know at certain times when they could get away with the shit they wanna do because it's not them thinking, it's them using AI to think strategically, how would this go and what is the response you're likely to get from the people? So if you lock the people in their house, it determines, okay, in 182 days, the likelihood of them rebelling has increased by 15%. Every week after that will go up an additional 3%. So we need to ensure how we're going to handle that. Okay. And then some other guy says, we'll just send them $2,000 and they'll shut the fuck up and just continue to scroll on TikTok all day. That was your stimulus check. Like, the world is ran exactly how I just said. Every little thing. Everything that happened in Maui and LA, every false flag event, 9/11, it's all calculated to precision based on the energetics of what's going on in our realm, and they're taking our feelings and our emotions from the input we give it. You give it your face. You give it your identity. You give it the selfie every 20 seconds. You're the one using the Snapchat. You made facial recognition technology better. You made ChatGPT smarter every time you use it. It was you. It was all of us. Remember, the Zionist system is about weaponizing against ourselves. I told you it was gonna get sweaty today. A bucket of ice water, I'll pause for 20 seconds, you could go get it, dump it on your head, cool off. I'm not done. There's a billion bullets in this gun. So, I hope you're realizing that we're at a time right now where we do have a choice to consider everything I just said and not turn it into Mad Max, to actually be in harmony with one another. But unfortunately, I feel the only way that's possible is a gathering of conscious beings. It will not be with the average being. No, no offense. I don't want to call them NPCs. I actually said this in my group AMA yesterday in our university. First AMA we did in the university. I said, I don't think people are asleep. I think everyone is just really pale and they can't have the sun hit their skin for too long. That's sort of how I'm feeling, and, like, when you really tap into truth, when you tap into your truth and you expose it raw, as genuine and authentically as you can possibly be, it's like you are tanning someone else whose skin can't handle it's like it's burning them. And what happens when you start to get burned by the sun? You go away from it. You say, "Okay, my guy can't be around that." So the only way for anything to thrive in the world we're moving into, which will be mostly digital, obviously, artificial intelligence for sure into everything from your bank account to the smallest little things, ordering food, then robotics, humanoid robots replacing the workforce, which will happen more and more and more, starting with everyday, basic things that you take part in, like a taxi you order, food delivery service, all of that. You need to gather with people who are suns. You're never gonna burn each other when you're all a ball of light. So you have to make a choice because what the New World Order just did in Los Angeles is not gonna stop. If you think it's gonna stop, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If it makes you nervous with what I'm saying right now, don't be nervous because your intuition is telling you where you have to be, why you have to be there, and the purpose of it all. The why is very important. You might have to make some very uncomfortable decisions this year. Just like people in 2020 who didn't wanna deal with the bullshit that was going on in Los Angeles during the C-19 scam had to make a tough decision to get out. And those who did, well, they're probably looking back at it now for over 5 years, not just because of recent events, but they're looking back on it now for the past 5 years and going, "I'm glad I did that." And it doesn't matter how much money you earn, it doesn't matter how much status you have, none of that's gonna matter in the age of Aquarius. It's just not. Honor and loyalty, that's what's gonna matter. Write down what I just said. Honor and loyalty will be the only currency that actually matters, not gold, not XRP, not Bitcoin, not dollars, not fucking gold jewelry, none of that. It will be honor and it will be loyalty. And if you have that currency, even in small amounts, then you are already rich. You're already rich. If you're already surrounded by a beautiful community of people, no matter what the scale of it is, whether it's 3, 5, 7, 10, 20, it doesn't matter. You're already rich. And money, the money you have in your bank account is energy. You can use this energy accordingly. Think of your money like water coming out of a faucet. You depend on that faucet working all the time. And you like when it's a hot shower, right? And when it's hot outside, you like when the water is cold, right? There's just different temperatures of how you utilize this money. And then if you start noticing the drain is clogged, you gotta do something about that. And that's how you stay wealthy forever. You realize that it's a never-ending tap. See, they hypnotized us. The New World Order hypnotized us into counting it all, into looking at it numerically, into going, "I have $100." No, you don't. You have $100 in cash. You have $100 on the screen right there. Does the water that come out of your faucet have 100 units? Like, what do you measure that in? Does the ocean have 100 waves? Does the ocean have 1,769,455,000,000 waves? No, no, no. Start looking at money that way. And then you'll start to realize the things that you actually have that are real, like your community, like your people, like your family, that is the currency that you actually value. Steve, sending lots of love, brother. Appreciate you becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate your support. Yeah, if I'm gonna do my final live stream for a while, I'm gonna make it memorable. Vlad the Impaler, I appreciate you sending lots of love. You said, "Hey, Waters, what is success to you?" Also, did you get to watch the TV show Jackal? The show evolved around a company named River, which has the same logo as Ripple. Okay. So, thought it was funny how subconsciously programmed it. Love you. Love you too. Appreciate you. Much love. And also shout out to the almost 1,000 people that are hanging out with us right now. This is amazing to have 1,000 joining us on this Friday afternoon. What does success mean to me? I got a, email maybe 2 months ago. I forgot exactly how long it was, doesn't really matter, but I got an email and somebody reached out to me and they said that they got my expansion mastermind course and that they said they were having a lot of problems with, getting pregnant, and they implemented some of the strategies that I've talked about in the Heal Thyself course lessons, and they also reached out to me via email and, kind of like maybe at the very early time that I, launched that course, and I think there was, like, a customer support kind of issue going on, but then as I was helping that person out, they asked me a little question just for clarity, and I had the time to answer it as thoroughly as I possibly could, and it was specifically to this, issue with getting pregnant. So they got the course very early on. I had this short communication with them, and I don't know however many months have gone by now. I suppose over at least a year. And they reached out to me and said that they were finally able to make it happen after, like, I don't remember how long they said they were dealing with this, maybe 7, 8 years now. That is what success is to me. Just looking at the chat. Beauty in Everything says, "I remember distinct." Oh, that's beautiful. Grateful to be a part of your journey. We could talk about this more, James. I believe I probably answered quite a bit over the past half an hour or so, but I feel that what we're getting right now is a lot of hope in our world. And I'm not trying to take that away from everyone, but I think specifically Americans have this like by Trump becoming president thing that somehow things are going to start to dramatically get better, right? And every event that's unfolded since the last year leading up to today has always been one of those like QAnon opportunities to be like, look at them trying to get this guy out or not allow him to get in, right? And it's been building and building and building. And then since he won, we've had some more events going on. And I don't know where the American spirit is anymore, but what I do think I could sense is that it just got more hypnotized. People have now, because of this Trump situation, it's like the Stockholm syndrome is at peak. And, for the people in here that are, like, diehard Trumpers or whatever, I don't know how you just sat through anything I've just said, like, I don't know how you made it this far. Politicians and presidents are, should we say it? Like, it's time for you to become a leader instead of looking up to leaders, especially if you have no idea what their true intentions are and they're kissing the wall. So, I mean, you do you, but I think the political sleight of hand, the chess game that's unfolding right now has resuscitated some of the hope in people to think that we're moving into some sort of glory age, when in reality, they need to have a figurehead in place to blame for all the things they're gonna do. So I have my own theory on this, that Trump's whole thing ended with the March C-19 scam. That was how his 4 years ended. I believe his 4 years will start now with another March event. So we had March 2020, and then it will start March 2025. This is not me saying that it's the end of the world in March, but I do believe the events that will start unraveling from March, specifically around Purim or the total lunar eclipse of March 14th. I don't think it's gonna be exactly on that day, to be honest, because it's never usually on the exact day, but it's gonna pulse out like energy, and if I had to share what I think that pulse was, the first pulse we just moved through. It was the pulse of everything into New Year and then the first 2 weeks of January. Now, that would be around 2 full months before March. Then we're gonna have that, like, ripple effect of energy, so 2 months before, and then we'll also have 2 months after. So the burn down of Los Angeles, the sacrifice of LA was part of the ritual. It was not stage 1, by the way, it's stage 1785. If you guys think you gotta remind yourselves, like, the New World Order is working on time horizons that are thousands of years. Every single thing they've done since the sinking of the Titanic, the Lusitania, fucking Vietnam, it's all just part of a big scroll of things that they're checking off their list. Trans movement, turn pedophiles into a disease, not an actual crime, you name it. These people are fucking out of their minds. So, everything that's unfolded is just sequential, but we're looking at eclipses really as this, like, pulse of energy. To the left, if you wanted to look at it linearly, like from left to right, to the left of it on the graph, we have January, LA sacrifice, and then 2 months after would be May, and May would be the month that I think we're gonna get the next big kind of, like, LA-like sort of situation. Am I saying that it'll happen in America? I'm not sure. Could it be happening somewhere in Europe? Possibly, yes. I'm not gonna try to get into that right now because that requires me to decode, and by the way, I have a very powerful 2 weeks ahead over in our Mastermind community, so patreon.com/watersabove, because this Sunday, I'll be doing a what I'm investing in special, so I'll be going over my entire portfolio. Not every single project, because I think I hold about 30 now, but I'll probably do about half of them. So we'll cover a lot of charts, and I'll be going over my whole portfolio, majority of the projects that I own. I'll try to weed through them just so I'm only, like, with the ones that are teachable moments, so there's no copies. And then this weekend, we have the What I'm Investing in special, which is one of the most sought after podcasts that I do. I think the last one I did was almost 3 months ago, so this will have a lot of fresh data recapping these projects that are in my portfolio. And then next week after that, I'm looking to have the Year of the Snake Decoded available. So this Year of the Snake Decoded is also an ongoing series that I do every single year before we have Chinese New Year. So for $9.99, this membership, just that one podcast, is incredibly valuable because I've had people that have taken some of the advice that I shared in that Year of the Dragon that I released last year and have used it to effectively profit the entire year and on many things, including sports. And I'm not even a sports decoder. But you guys saw that if you watched the last decode that I released, the Black Moon Decoded, I picked the 4 teams out of the whole NFL 50% into the season that I see going to the Super Bowl, and we made it to the playoffs, and all 4 of those teams made it and have the highest records out of all the teams in the NFL pretty much. So that again, I'm not a sports decoder, but our decoding system is working. And, that's really what I'm here to share with everyone. So, got this what I'm investing in special coming up next week. Then after that, I'm hoping my best to my ability to get that Year of the Snake decoded out because we have the inauguration coming up in a couple days, and then we have the next FOMC meeting at Chinese New Year. Remember, Chinese New Year is the new moon at the end of the month. So we have the next Federal Reserve FOMC meeting literally on Chinese New Year. Couldn't be any more symbolic. Um, I'll be definitely releasing it before that. So really excited to finish out some of these big releases that I've been working on behind the scenes and finally share it. So and then also another thing about joining our Patreon is for only $9.99 a month, you're opening up access to a full library of almost 200 podcasts. So this will be Red Pill 199. I'll have 200 by the end of the month. I can't even believe it. 4 years, 200 podcasts. Absolutely wild. And you'll also be getting access to our Discord server, our community group chat. You'll be getting live updates to whatever I'm buying or selling. So if you want to see whenever I'm de-risking or whenever I'm taking profits throughout this bull run, that's also included in your membership. And as well, that Mastermind Community membership, if you join over there on Patreon, it unlocks a $100 discount off enrollment at Waters Above University. So if you heard me talking about that earlier and you're interested in joining our university, then consider joining the Patreon first, because then it effectively gives you the cost of what 1 year of your membership would be. So very, very valuable package right there for anyone looking to make 2025 the most profitable year of their lives. James, I sense a lot of people are going to be dealing with some obstacles in real estate. I would love to connect with more real estate agents. I do suspect we're already cascading over the edge of the top, and we're likely due for some more pain in that particular market. I'm not a real estate professional, but what's amazing is in Waters Above University, we have several real estate professionals. So we're a community in there of professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, et cetera, who are going to be gathering and pretty much working through this whole year together, teaching each other about what we can, improve on, refine on, filling the gaps in our wealth plan. It's going to be amazing to be surrounded by those people. Everyone from attorneys to tax professionals to people that are skilled workers, home builders, farmers, people in agriculture, everything, you name it. Servando, I appreciate your support. You said you are the great. No, you are the greatest. I'm just a cup of coffee in the morning. And speaking of which, I have some with me. Lane, Discord is actually quite easy to use once you get in the hang of it. So if you need any help, our moderator will do her best to assist you with that. And it's a very easy platform once you spend a couple hours on it. Of course, like everything, it takes some time to go. I believe I saw earlier you said Park Slope fam. That's where I'm originally from. I'm not sure if I've said that in the past, but yeah, that's my stomping grounds. Carmen, although we missed you for the call in our university yesterday, don't worry, we have recorded it and playback is available so you can listen back. And yeah, next week we'll have this very, very important group coaching call, first group coaching call. Going to put a lot of emphasis on block one, which is all about discovery. So I've had these 3 lectures added: the discover your numerology, esoteric numerology, to figure out this esoteric life path number, if you will, and then apply that to the second lecture, discover your story, and then what I just released this morning. Discover your commitment. And this is really all about discovering your passion, because once you discover your passion, then we'll move into block 2, which is all about creation, and it will be to monetize your passion. And by the end of this 9-week accelerator that we're doing, you will all walk away with at least 9 big accountability tasks taken care of, and they will all be to actively build your business. So, really, really powerful protocol to get those first 9 weeks under your belt, and then we'll be troubleshooting, refining everything else for the rest of the year. Now, fourth density is saying, I still love you, bro. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot, or you embarrassed yourself publicly, and now you feel off about the fact that you are holding a water pistol and I am a dragon. And the water streams that you're trying to shoot at me dissipate into steam. Don't fuck with me. You're calling people names. You're being quite awful, actually. See, I have the spine for it. You're one of millions who probably feels something about something I said, but that doesn't affect me at all. Because if I could help one person, then I've served my purpose. So, whatever things you have to say, you're making fun of everything about me, which I find to be interesting because you're the one in my comments section right now. I'm not sure when I've given you any attention. You're here 1 hour deep, still tagging along. We didn't get off to a wrong foot. You just exposed your hand, and I allowed you to keep exposing it more and more and more and more. Hopefully, that embarrassment transmutes into you realizing your behavior, and then you could correct. Because here's the thing, the way you treat others doesn't actually hurt them as much as it treats you. When you say awful shit about other people, you're actually hurting yourself more. And all of you here need to realize that if somebody stabs you in the back, they're actually stabbing themselves through the heart. Create a mindset where nothing bothers you because you're aware there's something spiritual about what's going on and you're protected. Don't let anyone fuck with you. Don't let anyone bother you. Don't let anyone embarrass you. Just allow them to clown themselves. Again, you do not get actually mad at the mosquito when it bites you, and now you have an itchy forearm for the next 2 days. You just accept that that's that mosquito's purpose. It's to suck your blood. We need mosquitoes probably for the cosmic order of things, probably more than humans, actually. I know it sounds kinda doom and gloom, but it seems that every time we remove something, some insect, we start to see a whole habitat collapse. So, what do I know? But I'm not mad at the mosquitoes. They are what they are. We have lions, we have dragons, we have cats, dogs, we have mosquitoes. We're all in this together. For the people that are just joining now might be a little confused about that response back to that person, but these are your lessons to learn of how to handle people. Hail Metallica, sending you lots of love. You said, "Thank you for always making me personally look deeper inside myself just when I thought I was crazy hermit mode, trusting my intuition. You make me go deeper." I appreciate you, brother. I mean, it's all within. It's all within all of us. It's the realization that it's within, and it's the realization that you have to tap into that energy, and hopefully what we can all offer each other, and not just me, but what we can all offer each other is that opportunity to be vulnerable with one another. The more vulnerable you are with everyone, the more you'll learn who your people are. So if you're feeling, you're surrounded by some beautiful light beings here. I mean, are you also being as vulnerable when you're out with just people in general, maybe family, maybe friends? Do you think that they don't understand you? Well, have you taken the time or put in the energy to make them understand you instead of arguing with them or debating with them to understand you? See, because the things we debate or argue about are typically identity based. They really have more to do with the groupthink and have very little to do with what you're going through on an individual level. And once you strip away all that wrapping paper and you get to the gift inside, you start to see things much clearer, that we're all more alike than we are different. A billionaire still has the potential to get a disease or to get, some serious infection or something that could put him in a state of health where he's realized that money can't even buy him out of this anymore. All the money in the world can't take you out of this health problem. So remember I said in my last video, I said money solves money problems. If you look through the comment section of that, you'll be blown away how many people say, "That's not true. Money solves all the Are you kidding me? You've never met anyone who's rich. The more rich people you meet, the more you realize how many problems they have. Because rich is just what? Is your bank account numbers? How much money in the world matters when your wife gets sick? You feel me? Like, money absolutely only solves money problems. And the only people who ever say that, "No, that's not true, money solves all problems," are people who don't have enough money to say that. Once you've surpassed a level of wealth where you can finally say such a thing and be confident of it is because you've woken up to it. Anyone who's lost anyone who matters and is very important in their life would give up every fucking dollar they've ever earned ever for the rest of their time just to have that person again. People would do that for their dogs. So miss me with this whole money solves everything bullshit. That's trash. That's not even somewhat true. Money does solve a problem. It solves your money problem. That's why everyone gets into investing in crypto and they want to solve a money problem. We get it. If you only want money problems to be solved, then maybe waters above is not the place for you because we're not going to fucking stoop to that level. There's so much more to life. But I bet you the people that are on this wave, when we move on and when we capture this wealth from this particular bull run, because we're in the now right now, when that wealth is captured, you're probably going to look back at some of these things that I talked about and some of these times where I skipped over crypto focused questions or didn't want to talk about crypto for once during a live stream. It's because we're trying to do something that's much more powerful. We're trying to go up to a place where it actually has soul. There is no soul in crypto. There's just numbers, algorithms, trading bots, screens, programs. I mean, it has no soul. So it's up to us to do what we do best. Give it soul. That's what you're all here for. It's not the guitar that has the soul, it's the guitar player. That's why when you hear certain guitar players, it's like, whoa, it takes over you. You hear certain people sing and it takes over you. Then you listen to pop music, which is heavily edited, and it's like there's no human left after all the auto-tune and vocoder, all the stuff they've added, all the plugins, all the EQ, all the digitization. You've removed the soul and you're left with nothing now, and that's what that's designed for. It's music with no soul for people with no soul, and that's the relationship. So I'm not telling anyone to hate money. Money isn't worth hate. It's like rain outside. You can't get mad at the flood. You can't get mad at the drought. You just need to know how to respond to it all. got a super chat from George B. Do you think there'll be a melt up of all assets, meaning they infinitely go up with inflation and the dollar losing its value every year? Mm, there's a aspect to what will be in the short term regarding this. I do think we will have a major move to the upside, and it will be met by a plug being pulled out of the wall because there will be an event where it scares people from being investors, similar to C19. And by the way, I don't think it's the big one. I think the big one is coming in 2029, but that's another conversation, but it gives you 4 years to really get your, what do they say, ducks in order. Hopefully, that's what you tap into this year for. But 2025, I believe there will be an event that will push markets down because of investors being afraid. And because investors will be in profit, it will look like a blow off top style correction. Although I think it will get bought back up in the year. So whenever it occurs, whether it be that April, May timeframe or it be perhaps later in Q4, I think it will get bought back up. But I think all in all, 2025 into maybe January 2026, maybe. And I say maybe for the fucking 30th time, so you could all just like not quote me on this because it's not, it's like a maybe that's at 10% volume out of 100. It's like maybe, okay? We go up to January 2026, and that is not crypto. That is most likely gonna be only the stock market, and I would have to go into so many other reasons why, so don't even consider what I'm saying right now. I'm mostly looking to August, maybe September for crypto to have that next, like, if we are to have a mid-cycle correction, which by the way, it's very typical here in crypto. We had one in 2021 and recovered, and then we also had one in, several in 2017. We also had one in 2013 too. In 2013, we went up parabolically for Bitcoin and then had a major correction after April. I see those parallels, 2014, 2017, 2021. I believe it will happen again. So the idea of us running up a second time, though, is very much in the cards. And I see the everything bubble, or like when this really takes the biggest hit, it will be during this year. I very much do not think it will last for the stock market until 2026. The only thing that's making me somewhat entertain that is when I look back to 1965, which had everything to do with the year of the wood snake, which is the year we're moving into now. And because from the year of the wood dragon into the year of the wood snake, and the synchronicity between 1963 through what I think 1965 will reflect to the years 2024, 2025, even with the Kennedy assassination, and then we had the assassination attempt of Trump on camera, that to me is all drawing a lot of parallels, and I think that we will have a pretty nice year ahead, but not smooth sailing. It will be dramatic. So I do think that the top is in 2025, and then 2026 into 2027 will be the greatest buying opportunity of a lifetime, but it'll be after that plug is pulled, and who knows what will go on in that time horizon when it comes to markets. It could very well be something where the type of event makes it so that people can't even access money to buy the dip. I don't know. I think there's gonna be some changes coming, and I don't wanna scare people because some people might be brand new to my channel and they're thinking I'm talking doom when really I'm just being a straight shooter. Like, I'm not dramatic, guys. That's not my essence. So if you're hearing me say things that sound a little rough, it's like I'm just telling you to do more reps when you're doing sit-ups and you're tired. Like, it's me telling you to, like, push harder. It's not me telling you that, like, "Give up, you loser. Stop working out altogether." Like, I'm not that energy. I'm telling you, keep going, but, like, I know you're tired right now, and I'm gonna keep pushing you because that's what's gonna get you to greatness. There's no giving up here. There's no, like, that, not at all. We're pretty much tracking this whole thing. We're committed to tracking it, and we're committed to profiting from it, and we're committed to setting up systems that whatever fucking happens in the world, we will be all good in the hood. So I think that the dollars in general, the fiat money will continue to death spiral. I think assets will continue to inflate for a moment. And if we were to have in the United States of America, for instance, one more LA like situation, I think that would absolutely destroy the confidence of people in the real estate game, and the whole Airbnb, Verbo model, like all of that stuff will pop the bubble. With what just happened in LA, I think a lot of people, like, in what I could call the upper middle class, who are, I don't wanna say they're normies, but, like, just the people that maybe aren't too aware of what the New World Order is doing. So, like, the reason they don't like Gavin Newsom is, like, because he's, like, something really surface level, but they don't actually know that he's probably a fucking blood-sucking pedophile, like, they don't actually know what's going on. So the depth of it all and the orchestration of the disaster, their awareness is, like, at base level, right? They're really much keeping up with mainstream media, but they are successful. Upper middle class and definitely people that are in the higher net worth brackets, they're not confident in that state at all anymore. Because it's like, where do you buy where do you feel comfortable buying real estate in that whole state? Well, guess what? You know what has a similar problem to that state? Washington, Vancouver, and Oregon. They all have fire opportunities. Like, look at I lived in Portland, for instance, for, like, I believe 7 full years, and there was fucking forest fires every summer. So, I that's just a thing there, and there's plenty of places that have this, and they could just go ahead and do it again, blame it on the same bullshit, and we know it's not real. It's completely engineered. So, anyways, I know this is gonna open up some people to wanna talk about, like, the climate change and all that bullshit, but, like, I'll just end it with this, that confidence is a big piece to why people invest. Why are like, if anyone here right now has bought in the past 48 hours, which, by the way, I did recently make an investment. So if you guys wanna know what I'm investing in, again, that's a perk of being a Patreon supporter. I did make some new investments, in some venture capital plays that I weren't even planning to get into, but I'm at a point right now in my knowledge of the altcoin cycle that there's still time to get in. Again, a big reason why this Sunday I'll be doing what I'm investing in special Red Pill podcast over at patreon.com/watersabove to talk all about that. Like, what are these last minute opportunities that can allow us to be a part of this before things really start getting wild? But the question that I ask is, why has anyone over the past 48 hours or the past 3 days, why have you bought? I believe a big element of why you've bought is because you're confident now. Were you buying when we started to correct into the end of the year or the week later? Were you buying before Bitcoin made that pivot and pushed back up to 100K? Like, I know I'm maybe preaching to the choir here, like, you guys get it because 'cause you're a little bit more like a niche down community, people that are focused on this esoteric investing stuff, but most people don't buy the bottom because they're not confident when we're at the bottom. They wait till there's been recovery and then they start getting in, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's actually a technical reason to do so in certain instances as a trader for sure. But when it comes to just basic investing, I think a big piece to it all is confidence. So regarding the housing market, which is a massive fucking market, and then because of what went down with the insurance company, the insurance beasts over the past, maybe let's just call it 3 big events in the United States of America, one of them being Asheville, North Carolina, the other one being Maui, and what we just had go down in LA. This was all orchestrated to effectively just fuck over the people that were affected by it completely, like, to no stone unturned. It's disgusting what they did. So, getting back on the rails here, if no one has confidence, why would they put money into something? The housing market's gonna crash because people are gonna lose confidence in it, not because they need a home, not because they're gonna find out an alternative way to get their body into a structure whether that be an apartment or whatever, and they're gonna get out of those areas that they know are no longer confident at all, and are probably just gonna turn into big crime zones. I'm not sure what's going on in LA right now. I'm not there. I have a lot of people in Los Angeles or in California that are supporters of this channel and that have been following along here for years. And, you can share your personal experiences or stories, but I can almost assume that the amount of looting and robberies that have increased since the fires, is at least 5x more than usual because thieves see it as an opportunity. Again, there's gonna be more crime. It just turns into something that's fucked up, and they're gonna rebuild it as a new world city just in time for the next Olympics. And, I don't wanna go too conspiratorial right now. I believe you could all take some time to do your own research, and you can learn about what I just said, and to be dead honest, I think that's kind of the most important thing for any investor to pay attention to right now is confidence is everything. We're in a confidence market, and when you see people getting the most confident and they feel like a big brain, and then you see fear and greed index, extreme greed, and we're also, like, overheated on the monthly RSI, like, that's time to get out. I believe you can start your own town, Adam. What does it take what do you guys know about starting your own town? I'm not saying I'm gonna do this, but, like, you only need a small amount, like, I think 10 people probably. There's probably, like, some list. You guys wanna list in the comments what it takes to start your own town and share like, for the country, like, what would it be to start your own town in um, like Australia or in the UK or America, for instance. I don't think in Canada you could do anything anymore. It's like you ask to do something, and after you give them all the paperwork, they put you in handcuffs and remove 50 credits from your social score. Like, I don't know what's going on in Canada. No offense, Canada. We love your maple syrup, and we hope the best for you after Trump turns you into the 51st state or whatever the fuck he's gonna do. He's my favorite when he, like, says those things. I love it. I remember the build the wall and make them pay for it thing was amazing. Um, he's really going in right now, you know? So, I believe there's a way to secure your own town. You only need a couple things, like, you need, like, a sheriff. We, like we need a sheriff. We'll get Sheriff Billings. Mm. Okay, but if I had a town, I would make I would request. I can't this isn't like I get to say how it goes, but, like, I would request that our sheriff has a handlebar mustache. That's all I want. That's the only thing I want. Like, I want a sheriff with a handlebar mustache. Let me get, like, what I think the ideal and, like, he give me a second. I'm gonna try to find a picture of, like no, I'm having a hard time. Having a hard time finding this. Our dude. You guys can see this? Yeah, we need like a Western sheriff, like with a Western accent, too, like these guys, like that. That's our sheriff department right there. It's just this guy's distracting me. Let me pull this up. This is the weirdest. Where did we just go? Who are these ladies? Where are we right now? Like on a Civil War fucking thing? Where's our boys at? There we go. That's it. It's fucking waters above sheriffs right there. They're gonna get paid nicely too. They're gonna get paid nicely. We're gonna make sure our defund the militarized police, refund Western sheriffs. Appreciate you. Much love. Brooklyn in the house. That's what's up. I can't officially break up with you, but it's kinda something like that. I'm just kidding. I'll always be here, you know, I'm not slowing down in 2025. This is what I'm here to do. I think we need to have more fun with this idea of no, we need like Hop from, Stranger Things, like a real like a dad sheriff, some guy that turns the whole town into his kids, you know? Somebody we could trust. But you know what's fucked up? Almost every town in the USA, and I'm sure this is the same for many others, like in England for sure, in Australia definitely, like they all have Masonic lodges. So what do we turn our Masonic lodge into? Because we don't wanna destroy it. Like, you don't just destroy structures, you turn them into something. So what would be the funniest thing? We should turn the Masonic lodge into a comedy club. That'd be the best. Like, we're turning the old town's Masonic lodge into a comedy club. It'll be called Third Eye Comedy. Third Eye Comedy Club. And we'll invite Tim Dillon for the first, or no, we should get, what's his name? Fuck, super famous, what's his name? Alex Jones. Like, even though Alex Jones isn't a comedian, we'll just, like, give Alex Jones some cocaine and put a microphone in front of him and be like, "Alex, just talk. Just go." Just fucking 4 hours straight of him being like, "And then," or like, so you know, he's the best. He's the best. And then, what do we do? What do we do next? There's plenty of plans. I've been having fun with this idea now for the last 10 minutes in my mind, and I feel like I could talk about it forever. I'm looking through the, chat right now. Just trying to get on track. We're about an hour and a half in. I have about 30 more minutes I could commit to hanging out with you guys. Can't push it too long. It's been a blast. I've been pouring all my soul into this one today. La to be 11. Are you a bread baker? We need you. I love sourdough bread. Mustafa Ali sending you lots of love over to the UK, I believe. You said left uni at 20 to focus on my business full time, no plan B, endured long nights. No one on campus understood me. Well, they understood you, and I didn't understand them. You overstood them, and you said, my parents don't know, but I'm so confident and ready to conquer now that I've moved out. Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you just have to go on your own path, lone wolf. You know, like, you gotta pave your own roads. It's important to take some time to just reset, get away from everyone and their opinions about you or about what you're passionate about or what you're excited about, and just pour all that energy into your purpose. Like, you're gonna realize that a lot of people, when you share what you're about to do, they never really, well, I shouldn't say that. People say, like, that they're like, "I'm happy for you," but they're not actually genuinely excited. They're never gonna be as excited as you are, and that's not the point. It's not to get everyone to be excited, but when you do finally find people that are excited about what it is that you're pouring your prana into, those are your people, and those are the people that are gonna leave a dent in this universe. So surround yourself with them, or at least create a system to be able to connect with them, which is a big part of what I'm doing here. I think that's a big reason that Waters Above came to be and why it's a success is because I just got over living in a world where everyone was telling me how I have to think, how I have to behave. Meanwhile, I was always able to accomplish what it was that I wanted to accomplish at any age. It just doesn't matter. When you're successful, people have a couple of responses, kind of like a toy, like a toy action figure that they have 3 buttons on them, and you press 1 and it says the quote. So you just have to, like, kinda take an inventory of what those responses will be, but continue to serve your purpose, continue to do what you're here to do, and don't get concerned about whatever doubt you hear, whatever hate you receive, or none of that is important. If I gave in to the hate that I received in the first month of making my YouTube channel, it woulda never worked out, and I received more through the rest of 2021, I received more in 2022 when the market was bottoming, even though I was telling people about the lunar cycle and the last lunar eclipse on November 2022 was literally the bottom. Still getting hate from people. It's like, "What how much more can I give you? Like, what do you what do you want, man?" But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. At the bottom in 2022, when the market was looking like trash, telling people about the lunar eclipse. We watched Terra Luna collapse, we watched FTX collapse, both on lunar eclipses. I still received hate the whole time. So you get so used to it, you know, and then you just push through it and you go, well, I got something here. I got to keep doing what's right for me. And if I just continue steady and I continue to share where I'm at in the process and I hold myself accountable along the way, but also I do my best to not put myself in a position where I feel like people are feeding off of me. Remember, I always say, nobody here is a follower. You are leaders. I am speaking to the ears of leadership. When you hold yourself in that essence, it makes it so there's a raw and authentic and genuine foundation to what's happening. So the hate is kind of just funny at this point. I laugh about it. It's like it's a giggle once in a while. You got to become playful with all that stuff. George says, "What is looking glass technology? Is it real?" Also, with that combined with AI, yeah, I believe that this tech, if I had to go into it without going super, super deep, because I'm not 100% certain there's ever been proof of looking glass technology, which I suspect is coming back to the Vatican and a bunch of hidden tech that's in the Vatican. They have an underground tunnel system that's like the show Silo, where it goes down hundreds of layers beneath the earth, and it's just full of, like, what in the show Silo they call relics. If you watch that show, you'll know what I mean. The show Silo, they have these relics, and then they're all living in a anyways, I'm not trying to say that the people at the Vatican live like that, although there are scientists and doctors and certain people that are and also cloning facilities, these Not necessarily talking about deep underground military bases right now, but remember, all roads lead to Rome. And we're not talking about the above ground. We're talking about the below ground, the tunneling systems. So, under the Vatican, they have crazy tech we've never fucking even we can't even comprehend right now. You understand? So what they're doing right now with these planes that could shoot laser beams, I mean, I know people don't call them necessarily that, but I can't use the real word. You all know what I mean. That type of tech, that shit's been around forever. Oh, no. Can you guys hear me? They just pulled they just pulled in, bro. We gotta stop. We gotta stop talking about that shit. Oh, it's getting crazy. Alright. Whatever, man. Where was I at? I started talking too much. Alright, you can hear me? Anyways, Looking Glass technology under the Vatican, tons of shit going on, Vatican technology, and, I don't have any way to confirm 100% that it is real, but I am very confident that there is something of a similar kind of explanation of what has been told to us as Looking Glass technology. So I can't 100% confirm it. I don't have any pictures. I think anyone who says that they do, it's bullshit because if you ever had access to any of that stuff with your own eyes, then you would not be here listening to it. You would be somewhere held captive. They would, use the Men in Black thing on you, that, like, laser the thing where they, like, beam your eyes and then you forget everything. Anyways, George, much love. I appreciate you. Kathy says, "Why do some of us see through this bullshit, but others can't?" It's just some people have better eyesight. Like, your pineal gland has a more refined sight, and some people, their pineal gland, it can only see a couple inches past their face. It's okay. Time, I appreciate your super chat. I'm really grateful for your support. You said human beings as a species on Earth, our purpose on this planet, slaves or controlled experiment. I think where we have the opportunity to be one with nature, but we're not here to be of nature. We are here to be the chaos and disruptor of nature by default, and by having this access to consciousness and creativity in the way that we utilize it, which is things like architecture and building our cities, etc. This makes it so that it's very tough to have a harmonious relationship with nature, but the human body struggles being solely in nature, especially with the current experiences we're all living with today. There, of course, are tribes and there are people that live purely on, on the land, and at best they're using like a tarp to cover themselves from the sun once in a while, or tents. And even that again requires you to get fancy to be able to enjoy a comfortable, life outdoors, and if you have any seasons at all, then that also is a struggle. Now, I'm not trying to say that it's impossible, but we're pretty much not meant for this place. Animals are, we aren't. We've come up with a way to deal with this place, and a part of that was by bringing any level of comfort, we start to then put in or push forward a power hierarchy where we notice the leaders over the rest, and that's where the whole tribe thing comes to be, putting people into, like, chief position while some people are just builders, some people are caretakers, some people and it actually is kind of very much like the society we have now. It's just been divvied up further by access to wealth. And then on top of that, you have the bloodlines to talk about. So there's powerful bloodline families that they've created a world where, or they've created a reality for themselves where they don't need the same paperwork and they don't need the same documentation that you or I need in order to be. We are an experiment. I don't know about calling us slaves. I think that's not necessarily it. I don't believe we live in a prison planet also. I believe that there's a purpose for this physical experience in the simulacrum. The people that wanna call it a prison planet, I'm not trying to, like, argue with them or debate them. That's their take on things. It's just my relationship with that word is non-existent. I don't look at myself as that at all. I don't associate with that word at all. I try to never even use that word to, label others either, because I think that we're all here to serve our particular role in the grandiose thing called life and reality. And I do not think that what I am doing is necessarily better than what a truck driver is doing. I don't think that what I'm doing right now is better than what a doctor or what a nurse is doing. I don't think what I'm doing right now is more valuable than what a mother has to do as a mother. I just think I am. I just am. And I think everything is, and we develop a relationship with all of it through elevating our consciousness. So as long as we could continue to elevate our consciousness, then we will become more in relationship with each other. And then when you're in a relationship with all things, you then can relate to it. So when it starts to become problematic or there's stress or tension, you know how to ease the tension instead of complaining about the tension. You know how to work with it. It's like rowing the boat versus sailing the boat. You wanna save calories if you wanna be excellent. Rowing the boat will burn your calories, and it's unsustainable. It's a fun activity to do. We could turn it into a sport, but it's unsustainable. And in some ways, the size of your boat, even if it has sails, is not gonna work in particular waters. If you wanna sail the ocean openly, you're gonna have to build a vessel that can handle that, or you're fucked. So I don't think that's a slave thing at all. I just think if you wanna accomplish more, build a better boat. No one's forcing you to row the boat, and if that's the case, you can break out of that and push yourself through it and accomplish something of in some capacity. There's always a way out. See, the one thing that I find to be very beautiful about the human spirit is our resilience, and once you put us into a tough decision, we do tend to start sacrificing everything to make it work. That resilience and that drive to survive, I think is in every creature, though. It is in every creature. So when people think that this is independent to humans, that's a lie. Look at a slaughterhouse, and you'll see this with cows. They know what their fate is. They're sitting there in a line watching their brothers and sisters getting bolt gunned in the skull so that people could have cheeseburgers or steaks or whatever the fuck you call food. It's just this is the system humans have built. You don't see cows organizing themselves into a system like that. Not at all. And if you were to shoot a gun in the middle of a grass-fed cow farm, you're gonna see them all start running. They don't like that. They don't associate that as peace or harmony. They instantaneously have adrenaline skyrocket and they go, "This is wrong, alert, alert," and they start running. When they see an arrow flying at them, they associate that same thing with that. It's terror, just like you would feel if somebody bombed your front yard. You would go, "Fuck, I gotta get out of here." We all have that in us. It's just the human, with what I just said, we took that truth and we became bitter with it. And we started creating religions, separating each other. We started creating things out of self importance. We started becoming awful. So, this power hierarchy that we would naturally organize into, it was no longer about nature, it was about domination. It was about dominating nature and it was about dominating each other. And this is why the New World Order put everything into a kind of framework of intelligence. So, if they want to control the slave, they cut out its tongue. Well, we don't need to cut out tongues anymore. We just give you a fake language that you don't even know how to speak. Everyone knows the definitions of words, but they don't know the meanings of words. Why is that? Give them a language, give them a calendar, give them money, give them all of the system, and then they have to operate with it. That's no different than taking cows and putting them inside of a controlled area and making sure that at the end of this, the product will be meat or milk. We are a product too. Again, I don't really associate that with slavery. There's gonna be a cow in that situation that says, "Fuck this," and then runs away. There's gonna be an opportunity there. There's gonna be. Once something has systematically been abused and tortured so much, it can't handle it anymore, it will break free. It's just built in us, in our core. None of us wanna be slaves. So whenever we're put into a situation where we will get so uncomfortable that we'll break free. Now, the New World Order is so sophisticated, it's not even about making you a physical slave, it's about making you a mental slave, and I feel like that really is what has been accomplished lately. And again, if you're here, then you're not falling for that shit. You see through it. You were born with antivirus software. No one can fuck with your mind. And every time somebody does try to fuck with your mind, your intuition flares up and it says, "I can't stand you anymore. I can't be around this energy." Why? Because it feels like being a cow, and then a man is walking over to you with a shotgun and he's shooting the ground beneath you so that you start going the direction he wants you to go. If you can't relate to what I'm saying right now, it's because you believe you're better than something else. And that's not true at all. It's just the things have been set up accordingly and you have to respond or you react to them. And we all have a survival instinct. It's all coming back to consciousness. What do you do with that consciousness? That's your choice. George B, last question. How does David Blaine do those feat? Oh, I have no idea. I've never really studied deep into David Blaine or other magicians. I have a sense of, awareness that there is some very, very realistic optical illusions going on with some of these magicians, but, also it's an act. It's like performance, and I think the whole David Blaine thing is a sign. I'll say this, I think David Blaine has something going on for him that we could all tap into that is very inspiring, and he's never flexed one time in his whole career. Like, I mean, still to this day, he's, like, wearing a basic black T-shirt, and he's just continuing to do some of the craziest shit we've ever like, I don't even know if it's magic anymore, it's that he has sacrificed his whole beingness to pushing his body to the absolute limits, and I'm sure he's feeling the pain of that in many ways. He's probably had to go into a rehab protocol that is like no other, something that would put like a Olympic medalist to shame because the amount of stress that he puts on his body and his nervous system is not something any of us have even tapped into slightly. I don't know how he does those feats though. Training, I would say. He trains, he puts in hundreds, thousands of hours to his craft. James, I appreciate you. You said, "Will you?" Okay. Will Waters Above University be very tight-knit team of business associates? I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years, joined other masterminds, and all fizzled out after excitement, novelty faded, no action takers. Already, so self-dev, interested in business partners slash okay. Yeah, so James, this will be really, one of those things where we're holding you accountable the entire time, but for the people that are already successful entrepreneurs, there's a place for you on the stage. So, we are covering all bases here, and I think that if I can use a perfect word for it, it's holistic, and it's about self-reliance. So, there's areas in life that you probably can freshen up on, or areas of life that you could perhaps tap into in a way that could bring you more harmony in other places that you are successful. And we're gonna be a very close team of people that are focused on results and focused on action taking for sure. If some of the conversations were recorded between me and my moderator, Clementine, where we've just been pretty much creating the entire system, or I created the system, but I've now collaborated with her to put it into a way that's relatable and has the utility for somebody that may be at a level that's at the start or at the middle, or maybe somebody who's already very successful. So something that could cover all bases and not be boring, or not be like, why am I doing this? Or also simultaneously be too above, people's heads. I thought pretty much the last 2 months how to do that and how to execute that properly. And that's why our university community was designed the way that it was, to ensure that that question you're asking is not going to be the case this time. I'm also not entirely sure what's going on in all the other versions of this that exist out there in the world, but we're clearly going into this with a mind state that it's a lot more than money. It's about community and it's about developing relationships. And if you're now surrounded by 1,000 millionaires, that's a lot different than being surrounded by 1,000 specialized, uh, skilled workers or people that specialize in something. I think we need to wake up to there's going to be a value shift, and one of which will be money can only solve money problems, obviously. And typically, people with a lot of money are, I don't want to necessarily say selfish, but they avoid being able to connect with others that are skilled. And they typically opt out to connect with others that also have money or material things. Me, on the other hand, I wanted to create or design a space. So it's not about the material. It's more about what could we do with the money to have something that rebuilds systems, and whatever issues that we have with systems, we can just do our own. There's enough money going around just in this one community where we could bring those things to life. So it's a tight knit group of people that are focused and aligned with that vision, and we'll do whatever it takes to make that vision come to life. And by the way, the university will be closing down very soon. We only have enrollment open for the next pretty much through this weekend. So if you're somebody who's interested in joining us over there, we'll be open enrollment until Sunday at midnight. And you could go over here to the link in the description or in the pinned comment, and you could read all about what's going on. We're right now in block one of this 9-week accelerator syllabus in the first 11 days. So we've already gotten started a couple days ago. Funny enough, this it's so symbolic that the day that XRP was getting to the $3 zone was the day we launched the university. So it was like perfect timing. Put our energy towards building ourselves because we know our portfolios are doing their thing in the background. There's nothing more perfect than that. And we've already started. So we had our first group AMA yesterday, and Ask Me Anything. And then next week, we'll be doing a group coaching call, our first group coaching call. Also, I have a very special guest that'll be joining us. So I'm excited for that too. We're going to be trying to have a special guest on every single week for our university, and even past the first 9 weeks. So this is an ongoing project. It's effectively an opportunity for you to commit to the whole year of 2025. So this price that you're seeing right here, it's for a year. It's not just one time. You only have the 9-week accelerator and that's it. It's a one full year access to our university community, live coaching calls, and ask me anythings with me. I also will have special guest lectures as well as we'll be hosting people within our community that are specialists to share what they're doing. And this is just the start because we're feeling probably by the next month or two, we'll have other regulars in our community that'll be hosting their own spaces. So they'll be hosting their own coaching calls, their own AMAs, and it's just going to continue to expand more and more as we go. So it's going to be an incredibly action packed experience. And I'm hoping that within this first year, we'll get it to pretty much there's something going on every single day. Every single day, we'll have somebody who specializes in our university community that's sharing their art, teachings, and what they specialize in. And also, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you join our Patreon, the Mastermind Community, for $9.99, it unlocks $100 off your enrollment. So this is a really, really powerful deal because you'll have access to everything I have going on. Mastermind Community over on Patreon, and then I have this Sunday coming out, the What I'm Investing in special. I have after that, the Year of the Snake Decoded coming out. And by joining our Patreon, you'll unlock that $100 off the university enrollment, bringing that price down. So go ahead over to watersabove.university. That link will also take you over to this website. And you could see right here, there's a frequently asked questions section. If there's anything on your mind and you want some clarity on, that will give you the answer. So it'll tell you everything you need to know. Even if you are confused about something, like if it differs from my courses or other things going on, if you're brand new, anything about payment plans, all that stuff, it's all covered right here. So definitely check that out. And like I said, we're closing down enrollment this weekend for good. We wanted to get the group all in there, all at the same time. So this way, we're all focusing on the same thing together simultaneously, and there's nothing distracting us during the process. I won't have enrollment open again also until April. So it's going to be about 3 full months from now is when I'll have the next enrollment open. So for those that want to get in, want to be part of the early cohort, now's the time. I'm going to look through these final questions and then I need to wrap this one up today. It's been amazing hanging out with you all 2 full hours. Dester, I appreciate the super sticker. I didn't see anything else as the follow-up, but if I do, I will definitely make sure to cover it. Grapes, the last day to join the university will be this Sunday. So it's open through the weekend. I basically just had a bunch of people reaching out to me last week, and it made me realize, like, yeah, the enrollment period was way too short, and I didn't even really announce it to the public. I kinda kept it behind the scenes, and I did it for a reason because I wanted it to have sort of a more, like, tighter knit vibe. I don't want it to be this thing that gets off the rails and it's a bunch of, like, tire kickers. Like, I actually want people that are dedicated to making a change and really wanna take things to the next level, so I didn't want this to be this arduous, like, 2-month rollout like you usually see some people do. What I did was I worked my ass off with Clementine behind the scenes, got everything ready to go, and then we launched and then had this really small time horizon, and I had so many amazing people reaching out to me being like, "Waters, can you push this just a little longer?" And then that piled up to the point where I said, "Okay, I could keep it open for 1 full week after today." So that's what I committed to. It'll be open until Sunday. I have that new Red Pill podcast coming out on Sunday, so providing a ton of value as well, along with can't wait to start the next week because we've just completed like a half a week at the university and there's already been so many amazing things going on. I've had 3 lectures added. I've also have done our meeting for the week, and that's going to kind of be our framework moving forward. So 3 lectures dripped into the 9-week accelerator every single week. We'll try to have a guest speaker on every single week. We'll have a group coaching call or an AMA every single week. And like I said at the beginning, I'm not going to be able to do a live stream here on YouTube moving forward. I've announced this last week. I will still do them intermittently, maybe once in a while, but I just can't commit to doing them anymore. It's really tough for me, but I've shifted gears moving forward, committing to this university. 2025 is going to be an amazing year. I'm really excited. Ingrid, appreciate your support. Sending you lots of love. You said I left my passion in and even my career when I got married 14 years ago. We just ended it, and I'm so ready to move forward. I will do everything to join Waters Above University. Merci beaucoup. Lots of love. I appreciate you sending lots of love. It's great to have you join us on this new journey and to reignite that passion. And I would love to know what you were doing for those 14 years because it sounds like you're a specialist in something, and perhaps we can get some wisdom from you. It's so beautiful when we find people that have all that experience in something, and then even if they step away, remind yourself that sometimes stepping away was a necessity for you to be reminded of where you're at in the process and how to reinvigorate that passion in a sense. James, I believe I answered that a moment ago. It will close down this Sunday at midnight Eastern Time. Angelo, you said congrats to XRP holders. Thank you for what you do. So when are we having the alien themed get together? Yo, I mean, 2025, we might be able to make something happen. We might be able to make something happen. I don't know why, we don't I mean, there's gonna be people in our community that start spearheading, the meetups. Like, why not, you know? Like, you guys should do it. Whoever wants to make that happen, do it. I'm not telling you not to, you know? Just don't say I'm guest speaking at it. You don't wanna lie to people, but, like, like, do it. Be dope. Waters, can we hear your New York accent? Yo, man, I mean, I lived in New York for a pretty long period of time, and then I moved to Portland, which had no accent at all, like, just a very, like, clear speaking, and then there was a ton of people from California that moved there, so, there was a little bit of that West Coast kinda Cali thing happening, but the people spoke so clear, but in that whole time frame, I was doing all this traveling. As you start traveling and you have to adjust your voice all the time to people who speak English as a second language, and then you spend all this time living in different places, which I effectively have been for quite a while now, your accent only shows up when you get real spicy. So the New York in me pops out more when I'm like, you know, those moments. Oh, snap. XRP surfing, this comes back to what we said earlier. Um, XRP Surfing says, "I stopped watching your art when you were selling in April 2021. I was in the cult mind state waiting for the 589 or whatever the number is. Just wanna say how much I appreciate you." Well, it's all love, like, I had that experience with a lot of people where, yeah, it was definitely something, but I'm glad we all made it through, Like, I'm not here to pour out forgiveness, but, like, I get it. Like, if I was in a similar place where I was hearing a very profound idea that was very unique and nobody's said it before, but then on the other side, you have tens of thousands of people that are saying something completely different, then it could be tough to discern. I can't blame you for that. Tinfoil Tiara, by the way, I love that name. That's hilarious. That's like the podcast name that I wanted to make, Tinfoil Durag. You said my voice is making you sleep. Maybe it's time to go to sleep then. I do have that effect on people, though. I'm boring. Discord access for our, Mastermind community is included once you join at patreon.com/watersabove. You'll see that it'll all be automated for the most part when you join. There's an amazing tutorial video that our moderator, Clementine, created, which walks you through how to get linked into our community Discord server. I'm just getting around to the final. I'm past due now, but I'm gonna hang out for a little more just to get through these. Whoa, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Yano? Andre says, I've heard of this, and that's crazy that it's those numbers because it's the, or the anagram of the 138. Yeah, yeah, and you wrote that. Okay, I'm reading the by the way, if you guys saw the way that I read, it's ridiculous. I hate to read, so I just kind of jump from left to right. Like, I don't even read left to right. I don't read right to left. I read like jumping around words. I've explained this to some people before, and they're like, "What are you saying?" It's not even dyslexia. It's like something different. Joseph Terror. Shout out to Joseph. I appreciate you, brother. You've noticed something that very few people have noticed, which is like every month there's probably like 1,000 people that get either unsubbed or their notifications turned off or like their comments blocked. It's like classic, you know. It's happens here all the time. Anyways, much love, Joseph. That's funny. This chat is popping off, man. Iron says, "How would you deal with limiting beliefs?" Well, the number one thing is ask yourself where they developed. Where did those limiting beliefs develop? Did they develop in school? Did they develop from childhood? Did they develop because you had a moment where you tried to do something, but you weren't good at it, and then people made fun of you or they bullied you or they, like where's that developing? Go back to the beginning. And when you're at the genesis of whatever that is, then you could start to work through it and reverse engineer. So a lot of limiting beliefs form from the indoctrination that we all receive. Like we're all pushed through indoctrination camps. It's called school. And for the most part, a university is that on steroids. So they're just pushing you more and more and more through the system until there's no soul left in you. And, at that point, it's gonna be hard to have confidence because 'cause you're always battling for everything. Like, think about in the university, they're basically teaching you and training you to become a worker. So when then you get to work, what do you do to work? You have to put resume in, you have to compete against other people, and then once you get that job, now you need to hold that job, and you don't wanna get laid off, so you're now competing against the other people that you're working with. You're not in relationship with them, you're not collaborating with them, you are competing against them. They've turned everything into a big fucking competition, and what happens when everyone's in competition? Well, they have self-doubt. They think that everything is about winning, when in reality, life is not about winning. Success is not about winning. That's for losers. It's impossible to lose when you don't even care to win. Just be. Just know. This is where it all starts. Go back there. Explore that. Be vulnerable there. It's uncomfortable, I know, but it'll set you free. Yeah, Metallica, I appreciate you again. You're in it today. You said, "My only goal is to find maximum comfort using materialism, using minimal money control, understanding money equals comfort if used correctly to become self-reliant." Yes. Rogart, ooh, you make hot sauce? That'd be cool. I've always wanted to learn how to make hot sauce, but it sounds, like, stinky, you know? It sounds like you need, like, a commissary kitchen for it or something. Because like, fuck, what does the house smell like when you're making a when you're making a couple batches of hot sauce? I used to brew beer. It's a not a crazy big hobby that I had, but I'm one of those people that I love to learn about everything I consume. So if I ever consume something, I try to learn how to make it or, to produce it myself. This allows me to have a relationship with it so I can understand it better instead of judging it, and that completely, like yeah, anyways, that's another thing. Probably be getting very deep into that in the second block of our university. The idea of immersing yourself in what it is that you're interested in and how necessary that is for you to become a creator, but you're making a great point, and I'm really, yeah, I'm really grateful to be a part of your journey. Hail Metallica, back again. You said it's funny at, so many times at work, I sit outside 90-degree weather in a black shirt. 90 degrees? Where are you at? You in Australia, I guess? You must be. I mean, unless you're talking about what's 6 like, June or something. Okay. You said, "I just love it, and for some reason have passion for suffering and being uncomfortable, but I thrive the same." Yeah, that's why the cold plunges and, like, saunas and these type of heat and cold exposure things are really, powerful for people because you realize that the mind actually controls a lot of what's happening here, and it makes you much more resilient. It makes it so that you could tap into some of the things that you'd normally be scared of or believe you can't handle. I got a what I believe a final super chat, which is very, very, generous. Shout out to Clone. I appreciate you sending lots of love. You said, "Thank you, brother. Much love. Honestly, big respect." Or respect, brother. Big love. Appreciate you. That means the world to me. I really appreciate your support. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend so far and a beautiful weekend ahead. Appreciate you. Got a super chat from XR Peaky Blinder. Appreciate you. Said thank you for the last energy exchange with Jason. Grateful. Love you, brother. 314. Yeah, that was an amazing connection. If any of you here haven't listened to that, definitely go check out on our KX's channel. We talked about the date of March 14th, the day of Purim this year. And man, I mean, what didn't we cover during that? It was mostly focused on that particular date, but then we went into some stuff about April, May, and some thoughts for the year, but definitely a lot of energy and emphasis put on that upcoming total lunar eclipse. So definitely check it out. Appreciate you. Uh, Scription says it wasn't very holy of you to come here and slander walk with a holier than thou attitude, get lost at fourth density. Like we just need to allow that to be right. Like I don't want to censor people here. I just allow people to turn themselves into fools. Like whatever. If somebody wants to although like it is kind of getting obvious that it's at spam level, right? Like which I kind of don't I'm not about. I don't want you guys to think I'm censoring anyone, but this same individual has been here since the second the live stream started. We are 2 hours and 15 minutes deep, and they're still going off about me. Like, what? And it's, like, about Jesus and Christianity. If you really how about this? I'll say this. Fourth density, since you're still with us, since you're still at your favorite show of the hour, your last 2 hours, if you really love Jesus this much, don't you think you could have spent the last 2 hours, like, reading the Bible or something? Like, or going to your local church or, like, feeding children at the local church that, like, need help, like, homeless people? Like, you just gave me 2 hours of your life to attempt to get other people to feel a certain way about me in the name of Jesus, and you did nothing for your Lord and Savior except make you look like a fucking idiot. Like, why didn't you just go read the Bible or something? Like, it's so funny. I want you to like Jesus and and whatever you believe in. Like, that's cool with me, homie. Like, I also like the fact that you've been here for 2 hours trying to, throw a wrench in the cogs, but it's like, I you can't fuck with me. You can try all day, dude. It's just never gonna work. But I do kind of feel a sense of spam now because if it's 2 hours and you keep doing that, then everyone here, 700, 1,000 people have to keep dealing with this fucking chat blowing up with the same person over and over. It's God, are we I don't know how much longer we can hang in there. I just don't want you guys to think that I'm censoring people. Like, it's pretty much there, though. It's at the point. Oh, this is good. Okay, I'll end that here, okay? They said, "Did he mock Judaism or the Talmud or Buddhism?" Yo, is, like, not Tom Cruise here or, like, who the OGs, and when I say OG, I mean people that could have even been here for, like, 6 months. Can you name somebody who's in this particular field who's been talking about Zionism for 4 years? For 4 full years. How many did you start just seeing talk about Zionism since October 7th? Which, by the way, I used a system to decode to predict the likelihood of that event happening and who orchestrated it and the reasons why. This is, uh this is somebody new to the channel, guys. That's what we're learning about here. They're new. They watched one live stream. They took years of how someone speaks and diluted it down to a moment. It's hilarious. Jess, appreciate you. Sending lots of love. I've noticed, when I'm within StreamYard, I can't give a wrench. I can only do it within YouTube, and I never use YouTube. I do everything through StreamYard, so maybe remind me next week, and, no, I'm not doing it next week, so sorry. Alright, everyone's having fun. We gotta end this here. Man. Yeah, when you try to convert people to act a certain way, they wanna do the opposite. It's pretty common level. Mick, I appreciate you. It was beautiful to hang out with you all for so long. We got 650 people hanging out with us all the way until the end. Really appreciate and love every single one of you. Decode your reality in the house. I'm sending you lots of love, brother. Let's get a conversation going soon. It's been way too long. Way, way, way too long. I'm glad you jumped in here. Sending you lots of love. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to peace out, but this will be available for playback, so enjoy. If you're a little bit late here, wishing you all a beautiful rest of your weekend in the Matrix, and I'll be catching you all very soon. Much love.